Hiya friends, Prepared Suburbanite here. When the situation in Ukraine gets personal, because my grandson has just been deployed to somewhere in Europe. We're thinking, they're just guessing, maybe Poland. So when it hits this close to home, I'd like to share my thoughts that have been accumulating ever since this thing really started bubbling up to the surface. And we've got a very good family friend who is from the Ukraine, whose parents still live in Kiev, and she's very, very concerned about her parents right now. So I've got some thoughts, and I wanted to share them with you also. Stick around. So in today's news, today is Sunday the 13th, actually Super Bowl Sunday. In today's news, Jake Sullivan, who is our current national security advisor, is warning us that the Russian invasion of Ukraine could occur at any moment now, any day now, is basically what he said. And you know, I'm thinking that sounds like fear-mongering to me, but we'll see, because on the other side of the coin, we've got the Russian Prime Minister, and I got his name written down here, Lavrov. Yep, the Prime Minister of Russia. Yep. And he says that Moscow does not want to go to war. And we've got the Ukrainian president, Zelensky, basically saying, hey, to the West, to us, and you know, some of the our neighbors and allies here, quit hyping this thing. Don't create panic, because it's really going to hurt our economy. And from that, I can only guess what his real motivations are, is 80 to 100 or 100,000, 110,000 troops, Russian troops, are amassed on his borders. They basically got him surrounded right now with a lot of firepower, with a lot of troops. And Putin and Biden talked yesterday, and I didn't see anything coming out of that looked like it was hopeful in any way. And I've watched a number of my fellow YouTubers out there, folks like Canadian Prepper and Pinball Prepper. They're taking a certain stance. It's not exactly the same as mine, but Canadian Prepper's basically saying it's imminent and get prepared now. Fill up your food stores, because it's really going to get rough. Magic Prepper is saying, hey, today's the day, you got to go out and fill up your gas cans. And Pinball Prepper is basically saying, well, he's thinking that this might be a false flag kind of a thing. And I have a tendency to sort of agree, but I think for a whole different concept, a whole different reason. Right now, the U.S. government is saying that it could happen any minute now, any day now, even while the Olympics are going on in China. That's, like I said before, really fear-mongering to me. We have issued orders, I think, to embassy personnel in Kiev and in Belarus to evacuate and get home. Warnings have been given to American citizens in the Ukraine to get out of the Ukraine right now, that U.S. troops are not going to come in to try to evacuate you, so get out now while you can. That's pretty interesting talk. So there's a lot of drum beating going on right now. There's a lot of it's really not, it may not be a full false flag, but it's at least, I think, a partial false flag. I don't, let me put it this way. What if it's not a full false flag? What if it's just a simple partial false flag? It's a lot of spin on the subject for a particular reason that I've got some thoughts on. Yeah, it's a spin. It really is a spin on all this. And it's designed to create fear and panic. And whenever the U.S. public is fearful that our boys are going to be engaged in a conflict or a war overseas, folks start thinking differently than they normally do. So here's my bottom thought. If the Russians don't want to go to war, and the Ukrainian president is saying simply that knock it off with all the hype and all the panic talk, because you're really hurting us, I don't think really anything's going to happen. And here's how I think it's going to play out. And these are my opinions only. They're not based on any kind of fact. I don't have a resource that I can direct you to. These are my thoughts on this whole issue. But Biden's been at least reported to be talking tough. With threats of economic sanctions and, oh, you'll be sorry if you invade and all that kind of stuff. And if Russia decides that they really don't want to go to war, that now's not the right time, that the Ukrainian folks are right about what they're thinking, that this is just kind of bullying maybe, that when it's all said and done and the Russian troops start dissipating and being recalled into Moscow, and the troop levels reduce to fairly normal levels again in that region, that guess who's going to get and take credit for it? Well, that would be, let's go Brandon. And they're going to make him out to be the savior of the free world because he talked Russia down from a war stance, and he has engaged peace, and there will be peace from now on, just in time for the 2022 midterm elections. I may be totally off base. I hope that there is no war or threats of war or anything going on. I hope Russia does not invade. And you got to be careful what you wish for, because I think it's going to position the Biden administration to take all the credit for creating world peace. Those are my thoughts. This is the Prepared Suburbanite. I'll see you on the next video.